to the vibe. We are in the kitchen yet again, and we are going to be making my version of what the YouTube surfing. I'm telling you, I have to stay off of this thing. It's addicting. It's like my husband's addiction to TikTok, my addiction to surfing YouTube at night. This is my version of blueberry muffins. Now, I don't own yet a glass version of muffin tin glassware, whatever. I like all my bakingware to be out of glass. I'm slowly converting, but I've never really owned a mold for muffins. So I am going to be using this right over here. So that's like a bread glassware so this is gonna be like a loaf. So a muffin loaf. But in the YouTube surf that I've been doing, it's a recipe for blueberry muffins. So the recipe that gave me the inspiration, now I am tweaking this because I don't have what this person is using. So like I've told you in some of my other videos that I've been cooking, I'm using what I have in hand. I'm not going out there to buy exact ingredients that people are using in their recipes. I am asking Alexa or surfing the internet what can be substituted. So I am learning in my household, in my home, in my kitchen, how to be, I guess, frugal is the word. Maybe I'm using that loosely. So here it goes. The person that gave me the inspiration for this blueberry muffins, and I will be turning this into blueberry muffins probably next season when I can re-get blueberries from my garden, because the blueberries that are on this screen is blueberries from this season 2023. So I will be recreating this into blueberry muffins next season in 2024. But for right now, just to get that itch out of the blueberry muffins, out of the blueberries from this year's garden, we're going to turn this into a loaf. So the recipe calls for half a cup of melted butter, which we already have on our left hand side, 1 cup of coconut sugar. I don't own coconut sugar, so I will be substituting mine with brown sugar, which is fine, 2 eggs, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, half a cup of sourdough discard, which you see there in the front of you. It is bubbling like it's nobody's business. I left it out of the fridge because I knew that I wanted to do something with it, because once you guys watch the video that comes out, it's not going to be coming out before this one. It'll be after this one. You would see that, this guy here is full to the max. So I have to do something with it. It's either that or change the vessel. So I'm choosing to do something with it. Half a cup of plain yogurt. I don't have yogurt. A recipe that you guys should have seen already. Same thing happened. It called for something. I didn't have it. I searched Alexa, and it told me that I can substitute with milk, cream cheese, etc. So I know that I can substitute yogurt with cream cheese. This is whipped cream cheese, so I'm going to use cream cheese. 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt, and 2 cups of blueberries. I hope I have 2 cups of blueberries. If not, it's going to be a shy loaf. But that's okay. It's not gonna make or break it. And once all of this is mixed together, we are going to put it in my loaf, because I don't have the muffin pan, and we are going to hopefully bake it for 20 minutes. Since I don't have the muffin pan, mine is probably gonna bake a little bit longer, but everybody's oven is different, so we will see how quick or how slow my stove decides to cook. So we are going to turn you guys around, and we are going to start to assemble this. We are going to have 1 bowl for wet, 1 bowl for dry, and then we are going to start introducing our dry into our wet. Our blueberries are going to go in last. We're going to be folding all of that into everything once all the concoction is together, and then we will get this guy into the oven. So let's go ahead and get our hands dirty. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and add 2 cups of all-purpose flour into our bowl right here. Hopefully I got a decent big bowl so we can incorporate all our dry ingredients. I am using King Arthur all-purpose flour. I've fallen in love with this flour. This is my 2nd bag already. It's not that expensive, so I can't complain. All right, so we have 2 cups of flour right in there. So let's go ahead and put this away. To that, we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And that is gonna be all of our dry ingredients, as everything else left together on this table is wet. So as with everything, you want to just well incorporate your baking soda and your baking powder and your salt with your flour. If you have a sifter and you want to sift this, you can go ahead and do that. I have one. To be honest, I'm just being kind of lazy. With everything that I've been baking lately, I've been doing this method and it's been working. It's been fine. So I haven't pulled out my sifter. Just make sure that, you know, you just go around the bowl a couple of times. Mix around in the middle. You know, you make a little bit of mess, that's okay, but you clean up after yourself. And then just set this aside and move on. All right, so we are over here now. I went ahead and got one of my big metal bowls. And into this, we're gonna go ahead and pour the 1/2 cup of already melted butter, 1 cup of beautiful sugar, 2 tablespoons of vanilla, 2 eggs, go ahead and break your yolk. Let's incorporate these in before we continue forward. Let me tell you, I've been seeing everybody with these guys. I think these are like a dough whisk or I don't know what. Went ahead and got me these. I got 2, I think for like 14, 15 bucks on Amazon. Game changer, love these. All right, look at that. Looks beautiful. All right, so now we just need the 1/2 cup of milk. And this is where it gets fun because look at this. Look at this discard. It's a hot mess. So we're gonna take this plastic off. Oh my God, look at that. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. All right. Let me get another spatula because we're gonna have to break this down. It is full, guys. It is full. So we need 1/2 cup of this discard. She a mess. Look at that. She a hot mess. I'm gonna clean it all up once I'm done. Now, must I remind you guys, this is the first time that I do anything of this magnitude. I have never had, like, I mean homemade, obviously. I've had sourdough bread that I've purchased outside, but anything of this magnitude from the house, I've never had. So this will be really interesting. So let's put this little mess over here on the side because she a mess. All right, so let's pour it all the way in here. We're gonna use our fingers now, guys. My hands are clean, and remember, I'm cooking for my family. So we're gonna pour that right in there, all up in there. Get every bit of it. Yes, ma'am. All right. So I'm going to whisk all of this in because I want to break up the sourdough starter before I put in the cream cheese. Everything sourdough starter is giving me a workout. All right, so that's how it's looking right now. It's looking really interesting. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and scoop in right here half a cup. It's supposed to be yogurt, but I don't have it. Half a cup of cream cheese. And like I said, this is whipped cream cheese, so it's also gonna add like an airy texture to the loaf, because it's not it's not muffins anymore. I done to transform this recipe into something else. I think at this point, to be honest, it's probably going to be whatever's in here. Yeah, it's going to take the whole thing. This is an 8 ounce. Yeah, so at this point I cleaned it out. So we're going to put the whole thing in. It took the whole thing. So these things are going to be nice and creamy. And let's whisk this in. I should have told somebody that today's arm day. All right, let me continue this off camera while I break in this cream cheese, and I'll be right back with you guys. All right, so I broke it down as much as I could. The rest of the little pieces of the cream cheese that it's still there, the oven is gonna dissolve and break them down, or the flour is gonna hold on to them and it's just gonna add just a little bit of texture and moisture to the loaf pan, which I think is probably gonna be delicious. We will find out, I guess, at the end. So it's time to incorporate the flour by increments. At this point, I'm gonna take out this whisk. I'm going to be using this to fold in the flour. So I add in little by little, probably about like a third of it. Whoop, making a mess. I'm always making a mess. And you know, this bowl here is kind of a little hard, but I love these bowls because it has the rubber in the bottom. It's to kind of maneuver it. I think I'm breaking it down, but to maneuver it, you know, I have to put elbow grease into it a little bit, because I kind of want to do one of these every time and just break. Like, I want to break in the middle and move, break in the middle and just incorporate the flour and scrape the bowl from the side to kind of incorporate the flour a little bit in. So like that I can avoid, you know, lumps, but it works out in the end. So this is what I'm going to be doing until I incorporate, you know, the rest of the flour into it and hopefully get a decent consistency. So let me finish this off camera and I'll bring you guys back in when I'm ready to add the blueberries. All right, so I folded in all of the dry mixture. This is what it's looking like. It is a little bit on the airy side. That's due to the sourdough discard. It's calling for 2 cups of blueberries. I don't know exactly the measurements of this. I'm just gonna put everything in. These are from the garden season of this year, 2023. So we're just gonna go ahead and dump all of them in and just fold them in. All right, so I put it in the pan. I'm kind of contemplating if that's too much mixture for this pan, and it might spill or rise too much, but I don't know, I might leave it. I think I might just leave it and go for the ride. It also turned a pretty blue. So I think I might just leave it and just see what happens. I'm gonna try to mimic the Dunkin' Donuts situation. I'm gonna put some brown sugar on top so we can get like a little crispy situation going on here, since I am doing it in loaf situation. I would have done the same thing to the muffins, and then I'm gonna put it in the oven at 350 and see how long it takes for it to bake. If it would have been the muffins, the recipe says 20 minutes, but it's not the muffins, so I know that this will take a little longer. So once it bakes, I will pull it out and I will show you the final products. So far in the oven, almost an hour, and it's doing well. All right, guys. So this is the sourdough discard blueberry loaf. It took about an hour and a half to make at 350 degrees on my oven. It's done. It's piping hot. It looks a little wonky on camera because it's not sitting on a flat plate. I don't have a flat surface, and I didn't want to put it on this here, so that's why it looks a little wonky. But other than that, it is finished. Now, I'm not gonna lie, there was a little crumb that was stuck on the bottom of my glass plate, and I tasted it. It's delicious. It's not sweet because there's not a lot of sugar that's involved in this. It's an actual true bread. So if it would have been in muffin form, I think I would have been a little upset because I like my muffins to be sweet. So I'm actually happy that I turned it into a loaf, because now when it's actually cooled down, I can actually toast it and put butter on it. So I'm not upset. We're gonna enjoy it. The edges are nice and crispy, so I like them crispy. But once we get rid of the edges, which we call here the butts, the middles are amazing. And it's stuff that was made at home, so my skills are expanding, so I can't complain. I don't think anybody here else is gonna complain. The sugars that I put on the top is what kind of made the edges crispy, and at the top, you know, a little crispier, a little caramelized. But as you can see here in the top, it opened. Now that's why I understand now why they kind of slice the sourdough breads. This obviously I couldn't because it was too wet. It wasn't an actual bread, it was a batter, but we learn with experience. But anywho, guys, this is it. Enjoy through the screen because my family will enjoy this. But as always, guys, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we will see you guys on the next one. Bye.